Hi guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Wala and I am an English teacher. So I'm guessing you discovered me on TikTok because I go live on TikTok almost every day of the week just to teach people how to start making money teaching English to international students. So this is a business opportunity that people do not know about. Business opportunity or income opportunity, whichever way you want to have it. So people don't know about this. So people take it lightly, but it's something that you can take as a job, okay? People are screaming and, yelling every day about unemployment. They're complaining every day. But life is all about creating opportunities for yourself or looking around for opportunities. So teaching English, let me say speaking English in general is something that people take for granted. And I also I didn't know that this was an opportunity until I started like 3 years ago because I started teaching face to face. That was before COVID, and then after that I had to change to to online teaching. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about when you are thinking of getting into teaching, the first thing you need to keep in mind is I need you to create or have a positive mindset. Because first of all, you're going to meet people or talk to people about starting to teach English online, and they're going to tell you, oh, whatever. They're going to roll their eyes at you, or you're going to do research. Let's say if you Google for reviews of a certain website that you're planning to apply to, you will see millions of bad reviews. But don't let that stop you from applying. When I started teaching on Preply, there were endless bad reviews, but what I told myself is I wanted to see it for myself. I wanted to experience it for myself and not hear somebody else's opinion. So yeah, that's the first thing. Have a positive mindset, okay? Believe in yourself, have confidence. It's not scary at all to start teaching English to international students. It's actually fun because you're meeting different people, you're basically talking about anything. So yeah, it's quite fun, that I can assure you. So just make sure a positive mindset is at the top of your list. Okay, so before you make excuses, let's say you are this person, you are so keen to start teaching English online, but you do not have a laptop or headphones or anything. Don't make excuses. Okay, so this is the first thing that you do. You can teach from your phone, okay? It's possible to teach using your phone. It's just that the interface or the things that you can have access to when you're teaching on the phone from your phone is quite limited, but it's not something you can't stop starting to teach just because you don't have a laptop. So I also used my phone at some point, especially during load shedding, because with the load shedding you can't do nothing. But I mean, if I had lessons booked, I had to teach. So I would just buy data and use my phone to teach. So if you do not have a laptop, that is not an excuse to not start teaching. Okay, so the question is, what do you do if you do not have a laptop? Okay, so the first thing is you can work from an internet cafe. So I mentioned that you can use your phone, and also the second option, is that you can use the internet cafe. So you walk up to an internet cafe, look for a nice, quiet internet cafe, ask them for a monthly price, right? A monthly fee. So it will be cheaper than having to go there every day and paying on a daily basis. So now you'll be paying on a monthly basis, right? And then you start treating this internet cafe as your office. So you're basically going there every single day to teach until you can buy a laptop. Okay, I'm sure you can actually buy a laptop within like the first month. If you're really serious with teaching, I'm sure that is very much possible. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that you can use your phone to teach, but if you're doing the application process, it's important that you have laptop and headsets, and also the Wi-Fi. You have to be connected on Wi-Fi. So if you do not have Wi-Fi at home, you just go to the internet cafe just for application, because they will test your Wi-Fi speed. So you have to pass those tests. Okay, so that's the second thing. So we talked about the internet cafe. and using your phone. So there's no excuse for you to say I cannot start teaching because I do not have enough equipment. Okay, internet cafe, you can go there and use their utilities until you can afford it. All right, so now let's get into the actual process, right? Okay, so I'm just going to say this quickly. If you go on my website, www.wallastentia.com, I'll put the link in the description. If you go on my website, you will see free links. So the first link is of where to teach, right? So that's on Preply, which is the platform that I am now. And before you say, oh my God, Preply, I know everybody's talking about it. My problem with a lot of teachers is that they want to like apply for to get on a platform. Once they're there, they want to just have the money to start coming in. What I always tell people is that when you are starting to teach English, treat it as a business, okay? So if you are thinking of starting a business, whether it's selling clothes or whatever, of course you have to set a price, but it's going to take like a period of time for people to know about you, for people to want to do business with you. You know, there's a time period to build your business, right? So once you're on Preply or any other platform, especially the ones that people say they charge minimum, like low amounts per hour, I cannot do that. Go there, charge that low amount. What you're trying to do is you are building a relationship with your student, right? When you get on the platform, you are dealing with a lot of competition. Any platform, even if it charges a high amount, any platform, any business, there is competition everywhere, okay? So once you get there, you want to have a strategy, okay? Like I said, you're treating this as a business. So once you get on the platform, you want to have a strategy. So what is your strategy? You are dealing with competition from overseas teachers and you want to grab your own market share, your own students. So how do you do that? Okay, you lower your price. And when you lower your price, you are going to be teaching for 2 to 3 weeks, and in that amount of time, you're only mostly focusing on relationship building, because that is the basis of any business. When you have a relationship with students, they will always come back. No matter what you do, if you say you're taking a break, students will always come back to you because number one, they're comfortable with you, you are friendly, you are fun, and you really give them good value for their money. Okay, so that's why I always emphasize on relationship building. So anytime, any website that you get accepted on, the first thing you do, have a strategy. What's your target for the week? What's your target for the month? What are your goals for the next 3 months? What are you hoping to achieve? Okay, what amount of income do you want in the first month, the second month, the third, in 6 months, in 1 year? Okay, so it's all about strategy. You don't just walk into it blindly just because, okay, they accepted me, so I'm just going to wait for the students to come. No, you've got to have a strategy, guys. Okay, so like I said, lower your price to grab your market share, to grab your students. 2 3 weeks, you're building a relationship with them. After 2 3 weeks, you have an opportunity to change your price to the amount that you want. Okay, so let's say you start at $3. After, you raise your price to maybe 6. Okay, this is what I did. I'm talking from experience because I'm teaching. Okay, I'm a teacher as well. And also for students who say, oh, the money is too low. Let's say, for example, you're on $3. If you feel your students have money, okay, there are students who are reaching out to you, they want you to teach them, but they don't have that much money, okay, you are going to create a group class. When you create a group class, you're going to invite those students who are on the low amount, and you are going to teach them in a group, okay? So instead of you now getting paid $3 an hour, you're getting 3 times 5, you're getting 3 times 6, or 3 times 10 even, okay? It's all about your strategy. If you do your marketing well, you can get so much students, okay? So I really feel sorry for teachers who will run away from a platform because it charges less. Okay, when you're a teacher, it doesn't mean you're just going to be teaching one-on-one. You're not just going to be teaching one-on-one. You're not going to be teaching for that $3 your whole life or for the next year. No, it's all about strategy. Lower your price to get the clients. So also an important thing when you're grabbing your market share, when you're grabbing your students from the competition, you want to make sure that you get, sorry for that, you are getting reviews. Okay, so let's say a student books you at $3 after the trial lesson. Ask them for a review. Okay, after the trial lesson, maybe after the second lesson, it just depends, whatever works for you. So that is the strategy, guys. You gotta have a strategy. If you want to be teaching online, any platform, you can excel as long as you have a strategy. It's not about the pricing, it's about your strategy. Okay, don't just focus on a one-on-one, focus on also group classes. You can get as much as a group of 20 people if you really put your mind to it. Okay, because the other thing, the disadvantage of teaching one-on-one, you can only teach one person. Okay, so I have had instances where I would have, student wants to have like a 6 p.m. You've got like 3 students who want to do 6 p.m. What do you do with that? You can't just let them go just because, oh, I've got another student. Just say, hey, I'm recommending you join a group class with me. The advantage of you joining a group class is you are exposing yourself to, different accents, because you'll be learning with students from, different nationalities and all that. So that's an advantage for them, because you'll find that when you're teaching adults, okay, it can be kids or adults, when you're teaching these people, the reason why they're learning English is because they do not have friends to speak English with. They do not speak English at work at all. So that's when you come in, right? You're advertising group classes, and that would be good for them. They also have buddies, you never know. So yeah, it's all about, it all goes down to strategy. How are you strategizing your business? Because when you start teaching, treat it as a business. That's the only way. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the steps of applying. So if you go on my website, you will see under freebies, there are links. So the first link is where to get a free TEFL certificate. TEFL, T-E-F-L, which means Teaching English as a Foreign Language. So you need that certificate as an added advantage when you're applying, okay? Because you're going to be teaching foreigners, so you really need that certificate. And it's free, and you can get it on Teacher Record, okay? So the second thing that you do after you do the TEFL certificate, so the certificate, they will send you the certificate within a week after you're done, right? Then the next step is you want to create an introduction video. So in the introduction video, you're basically talking about yourself. So in an introduction video is also another marketing strategy, right? You are marketing yourself to a student on your profile. So when a student comes to your profile, the first thing they will do is look at your video. Okay, so you need to be smiling and everything. You need to talk about your personality. You're advertising yourself to them. Why should they book you and not the next tutor? Okay, or not the next teacher. So you're marketing yourself in the introduction video. Okay, so I'll just give like a quick example. Hi, my name is Sharon. I'm an English teacher. I love teaching English. I have 2 years experience teaching English. I have experience, and I have a degree in accounting or law or sales and marketing. So you're basically talking about your qualification and then your experience. And then you go to your personality. So you talk about, I am a patient teacher. I believe every student learns at their own pace, and learning English or any other language can be daunting. So I am a patient teacher, and I make sure that, I'm patient enough with my student, so it makes them comfortable to learn. You can also say, I custom tailor my students' lesson according to their preferences, their needs, and their problem areas. And you want to say something like, I love to make sure that my lessons are fun. I like to make sure that my students are comfortable in the class to express themselves. So I just make sure that I'm, very comfortable and relaxed as well, so that my students can feel the same way. So in the end of your introduction video, you want to say something like, I can't wait to meet you, or I can't wait for you to book a lesson with me, and then see you in the lesson, something like that. Because remember, we said the introduction video is all about you're introducing yourself. It's marketing, it's an advert. Okay, an introduction video is an advert. So when you do your introduction video, you want to check your background. What does my background look like? Okay, so it doesn't have to be too much like now. So also another thing is it just has to be like, you know, plain background, especially if you're dealing with adults. And if you're dealing with kids, you want to have like a colorful, you know, alphabet, all those little tiny things. And also when you're doing the introduction video, you will use, okay, I'm trying to look for something. If you're doing the introduction video for kids, you want to be bubbly, you want to use puppets, you want to do this sign language and everything. So I specifically deal with adults because I think I'm good with adults, and also because I'm interested in business English and conversations. So basically I teach adults. Okay, so anyway, I was explaining the introduction video. So after the introduction video is done, you want to start applying. Okay, when you are applying specifically on Preply, which is where I am, so that's what I'm going to talk about, but this can apply to any platform. So when you're applying on Preply, like I said earlier, they would do a Wi-Fi test, they would do headphones test. So that's why I encourage that you go to an internet cafe when you're applying. But when you start teaching, you don't really have to do that. Okay, so applying on Preply, they will test Wi-Fi speed, they will test the headphones. What else? They will take video pictures of you and stuff like that. So sound tests and everything. What else? Okay, so the other thing you upload now, you upload your TEFL certificate and any other certificate that you have. So let's say you have a degree in accounting or whatever, any certificate, as long as even if it has nothing to do with English, upload all the certificates that you have. It's an added advantage. And then you upload the introduction video. Okay, so how do you upload an introduction video? They will tell you though the instructions, like the instructions are easy to follow. But when you're doing an introduction video and you're uploading it, you go on your YouTube channel, you upload the video there. It does not mean it's going to be public. You can put your video on private so that people don't, if you don't want people to see it, and then you put it on private, you copy the link from YouTube, put it on Preply, and then they will see it from there. So only the person with that link can see your video. Okay, you don't have to worry. If you don't want people to see your introduction video, you can just put it on private. Okay, so basically that's how it happens. And then you wait about 2 or 3 weeks, they'll respond on Preply. So basically, yeah, that's the introduction, the process of applying. Okay. Okay, so let's say you have been accepted on Preply and you're wondering, what do I teach? Okay, what do I teach in the first lesson? What do I teach in general? Okay, so one thing about Preply, it's very good for beginners in the sense that once you're in on Preply, the platform, you have access to a library. So in the library, you find lessons from A1 level to B2 or advanced level. You find everything. If you type any topic, you find it there. If you want vocabulary, let's say you're having a vocabulary lesson or you're reading an article and your student doesn't understand a word, you can just type it in Preply and send the meaning. So it's quite easy as well to teach on Preply. So when it comes to video, okay, so you can choose whether you want to teach directly on Preply or you want to have the lesson on Zoom. Okay, so that's another option you can take. Okay, so you can have lessons from Preply, you can pick from Preply, or you can also use your own material. So there are a lot of platforms where you can get lesson plans, which I will put a link in the description box because there are so many places. So that's the other thing. Like right now I'm talking about applying on Preply, but just because it works for me, it's not going to work for everybody else. Okay, just the same way as when I applied on Preply, I saw so many bad reviews, people saying I didn't get accepted or the money or I got blocked, but I still did make it, you know. So always try a lot of platforms. If one platform doesn't work, you switch on to the other. That's what I did. I didn't just start and go on Preply and everything worked out. It took me a while to do all this research for me to be able to teach people or coach teachers how to start teaching. Is because I've been in it in the long run and I research a lot, because I treat teaching teaching English as a business. So I do research a lot. Okay. Okay, so now I want to talk about the trial lesson. The trial lesson is the first lesson that you have with every student. Okay, any student who comes up to you, the first lesson, we call it a trial lesson. So what do you teach in this trial lesson? So I'm going to give you an opinion of what I do. Okay, remember, I talked about competition, and my first strategy when you're competing is you lower your price, right? So remember, you lowered your price to lure these students to you. Now the student is in front of you. What do you do? Okay, so from the start, wear a smile, okay? Make them feel comfortable. I have small talk with my student for like the first 30 minutes, like, but I also tell them, so my trial lesson, mainly focus on knowing my students. I ask them questions like, okay, so where are you from? What do you do? Are you a student? Are you working? How long have you been learning English? Have you been on Preply for long? If they had a previous teacher, I ask questions like, so what problems, did you have any problems with the previous teacher? Because I do not want to repeat the same problems, okay? And then I also ask them how they want to have their lessons, because I deal with adults, so obviously they know what they want, right? So it's important to know how your student wants to have lessons, because some just want to have conversations, some are focused on business English, okay, and some just want somebody to talk to refresh their English. So yeah, it's important to know what your student wants. That's important for them to stay, because you put your customer first, right? Your student first. Okay, so like I said, so initially when the lesson starts, I'll just tell them, okay, so I'm going to be asking you random questions because I want to also assess your English level, fluency, and everything in between, okay? So they don't get, stunned like when you keep asking these questions. So you can also tell them to feel free to ask you questions as well, because it's not just about you. Allow your students to speak, because they are there for them to learn. So let them speak. Then you're also able to pick on their fluency, their problems, grammar, and everything in between. Okay, so let them speak often. Ask them, open-ended question. Okay. So that's it about the trial lesson. So maybe you can have at the end of maybe the 20 minutes or something, you just have like a small lesson. So what I normally do, I will teach like maybe vocabulary, depending on my conversation with the student. I'll just pick like a very short, topic. So I normally like to do maybe, let's say, vocabulary, and then after the vocabulary, do like sentence construction just to make sure they understand the words that we learned. And yeah, basically synonyms and all that. That's like one of my favorite topics to teach. So yeah, so when you're doing the trial lesson, you're building a relationship with your students, right? You're making them comfortable. You're smiling, you're laughing, you're cracking jokes, okay? You are, creating a bond with them. And then at the end of the lesson, you want to mention something like, okay, so while we were speaking, I realized we need to work on your fluency, we need to work on your grammar, we need to work on your reading or pronunciation. And then you suggest or give them an idea of what the next lesson will be like, okay? So remember, it's all about competition. You lowered your price to get the student. Now they are with you, but just because you're having a trial lesson doesn't mean they're going to come back. So you want to make sure they come back and say, hey, next lesson, we're going to be working on your punctuation or whatever, or pronunciation. Yeah, you give them an idea of the lesson. You even type it down, because in Preply there's a space where you can type the next lesson. You type it down and say, this is the next lesson we're going to have. I can't wait to see you. See you in the next lesson. You say that to them. They haven't even booked a second lesson, but you want to assure that they come back, and you also want to make them feel like you want them back. Okay, because another thing with students, that I've had students, they want to book like a lot of lessons per day, but they'll be like, oh my god, I cannot have you. Maybe you're going to think, oh, this student, I've seen her in the morning, now she's booking lesson again. So you also want to make them comfortable. And the other important thing, you want to recommend to your students that they have more lessons. So you also ask them, so how many lessons are you intending to have every week, right? That's when you start for the first 30 minutes of the trial lesson. You want to get to know them. How many lessons are they hoping to have? And then you can recommend, when you do an assessment, you recommend, okay, so I think you need to do 3 lessons a week or 4 lessons a week or daily lessons every week. If they have like a duration, if they're trying to, be fast and be better in like 2 months. So you are the teacher, you do the recommendations, and that's where the group lessons come. So if you say, okay, let's say for students who are planning to travel, they want to travel to another country, um, you would recommend and say, hey, I would recommend you join a group class because you're going to, expose yourself to different nationalities. You're going to learn from different accents. You never know that you can make a friend while you travel. You can meet or something like that. So that's all about advertising a group lesson. So now I want to talk about packages, right? So when you're a teacher, it doesn't mean you just don't focus on teaching one lesson per hour, okay? You want to focus on advertising packages. What are packages? Packages is when you say something like, for 10 lessons you have with me a month, maybe I'll give you one extra lesson. So you want to encourage your students to pay, a certain amount of lessons, to have a certain amount of lessons with you every week or for the month. So focus on also advertising your packages. So students pick on Preply which package they want, depending on how many lessons they want to have. So while you're talking to a student in the trial lesson, you want to just say, okay, I'm recommending 3 lessons, and if you get the pack, or maybe 4, yeah, let's say 4. Let's say if you get the 4 lessons every week, I'll give you 1 lesson extra, or you can get access to me, or you can ask me direct questions. You can just think of any freebie that you can give them, something free, like added value if they book a certain number of lessons per class. So also focus on advertising packages, okay, which is also an advantage with Preply. You know that you're going to have this student every week, a specific student every week. So it actually, it's good for your income as well, in the long run. So after the lesson ends, you want to do what you call an assessment report. After after the lesson ends, you want to send an assessment report. What's in the assessment report? You want to talk about their English level. You want to talk about the fluency, or generally your feedback of their first lesson with you. You want to tell them their problems. You want to tell them, so also give them a list of maybe 5 topics that you think you guys should do. So also it's all about strategy. You're still marketing yourself because this student hasn't booked regular classes with you. So yeah, you do you give them send them an assessment report. And also I encourage you to send it in a PDF format, okay? Make it look professional. And also another tip, when you do an assessment report, just slide in your information there, your email, your phone, what else, anything, social media, just slide it in there, when you do an assessment report. So this is the other thing that I always encourage teachers that I coach. Like, when you start teaching English online, you want to create a website, right? You want to create a website for yourself. The reason is you can start using that website to milk more money, like as an income revenue, apart from Preply, you have this other business you're trying to build, okay? Business takes time to build. So imagine, okay, the reason why I came up with this idea is because when I started on Preply, I didn't know that if I felt like I didn't want to teach, like I wanted a break, I can just take a break, So I deleted my account. And I lost a lot of students. Like, I lost a lot of students, and I regret it up until now. Even though a few of my students did find me, and they were like, hey, what happened? I still haven't found a teacher who's like you, so I want to have lessons with you again. But, if you have a website, if your students are used to getting lessons from your website, then if something happens to your Preply account or anything, they will still know where to find you. They have your number, they have your email. So yeah, it's a business, so you have to make sure your business doesn't die out, or you don't lose your clients, or you don't lose contact with your students. So don't just go on an English platform and say, okay, I'm here now. Like, you can still apply on other platforms while you're there, because you're testing the waters. So whatever you do here may not work there. So you might want like one platform than the other. So it's all about building a business. I always encourage that to my teachers. So basically that's how you build your business up. That's how you start teaching English online. Get into it with the mindset of, that it's a business, okay? So for those who want to know more about how to start teaching English online and get to know what to do, treating it as a business, like what do you do, what steps do you take, then that information, if you want to get to know more about that, I'm doing one-on-one coaching sessions and I'm doing master classes. So you basically get an idea of how to expand your business. Because guys, if you speak English, you cannot tell me that you're broke. There is no way. And this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. The income is from 4,000. Okay, when you're teaching English, initially it's just to pay your bills. You can be able to pay your bills just for like some stability. Okay, but in the long run, it can go up to 5 figures. So from 10,000, 12,000. It all goes down to how much effort are you putting in and what your strategies are. Okay, so that's what it's all about. So that's it about the money, from 4,000 to 12,000, and there's more ability for you to earn. There's an ability for you to earn more. That's why I was talking about the masterclass. So it's all about what you do. So in case you're asking what do I do, when you're on Preply, you're using PayPal or Payoneer to withdraw your money. So I'll see if I can put the links there. But you link your bank account to PayPal and Payoneer. You withdraw your money whenever you want. Your money comes in immediately after every lesson, 2 minutes after every lesson, or just automatic, because it's automatic. The student has booked regular lessons, okay? So the money will just come in automatic. So it's very easy to be working on Preply. You set your own hours. If you decide tomorrow I can't really teach, you can reschedule your lessons, okay, with your student. And yeah, basically. Okay guys, so thank you for listening. That's all for now. If you are interested in the masterclasses or the one-on-one sessions, you can just send me an email at info@wanastancia.com, or I'll try to put the booking system on my website. So if you go on my website under masterclass, you can actually book in advance for July, okay? So I will be doing one-on-one sessions and masterclasses, which are good for people who want to expand the business, want to know more on how to make money just by speaking English or using their talent of knowing English, basically. So yeah, I'll be doing that in July. Right now I'm on a teaching break because I took a break. I was working from November. So yeah, right now I'm just on a break. But July, when July starts, I'm going to start. So just send me an email if you want to know more. Okay guys, so I wish you the best on your journey of starting to teach English online. If you need more info or just to ask questions, you can come join me on live every weekday. I don't have like a specific time, but if you follow me on TikTok, you'll get notified whenever I'm live. So I also take guests when I'm on TikTok. If you want to ask me questions directly, I'll just accept I'll just accept you as a guest on my TikTok, and you can ask me whatever it is that you want to know. Okay guys, so that's it for now. Bye.